Equinox 850 is just that one ERC lead turned into a over $50,000 in commission. So that
100%,
leads, I've funded over a dozen plus deals, easily over 100 grand in commission. And then in regards to the ERC itself, on the books, contract signed, I have over 5 million, which is a couple $100,000 in commission that I'm waiting on, and a lot of that's starting to funnel through now. Today I was like a $12,000 deposit for an ERC that was done. So it's like every day, Monday through Friday, I'm seeing deposits come in. So it's going well.
Daniel Diaz and I keep getting emails literally daily. Like I got one email yesterday, and one of our members got a business qualified for $2.5 million. So that's a lot of commissions, right? So that right there is, I don't even know what the math is there. So about $70,000 or so for that broker. And that's happening on a daily basis. And the beautiful. Hey everyone, Oz Konar here with Business Lending Blueprint. Today I have a very special session. I have my good friend, Daniel Diaz. I didn't know him before the Blueprint. We met through the Blueprint community, and I think we ended up becoming good friends. And he's right now a moderator in our community. He's actually been coaching hundreds of our members through the life cycle of the Business Lending Blueprint, but also he's totally independent. So he's not an employee of Business Lending Blueprint. He's a very well-known business loan broker in this industry. Many people look up to him. I actually did interview him a few years ago, and a bunch of you guys have been asking about the progress of different Blueprint members. So I thought I'll bring you guys the best that I ever know. Daniel, great to have you here, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate the compliment.
No, definitely. I do mean it. And Daniel and I, we did an event recently. We did a BLB mastermind event in Orlando. He was one of the guests, but also he covered pretty much day 2 of the event. So we primarily focused on finding our identity in this business, finding the niche, what kind of funding options to focus on, what industries to focus on, which is what a niche is, right? So you focus on a specific market, either a geography or a lending product, or a type of business, right? So everyone brought in their own ideas, and people come in with their own personalities and background, and we worked on matching them to the appropriate channel of the market based on their past experiences. And Daniel has been funding tens of millions of dollars as a business loan broker, and recently he's involved with what we call the ERTC, Employee Retention Tax Credit, which is a government grant provided to those who kept their W-2 employees employed through the pandemic, and government is giving massive credits to those businesses. And honestly, we're super excited about it because this is maybe happening for the first time. Usually government bails out big banks and major corporations, but they're giving it back to the small, mid-sized, large-sized businesses, which is a game changer for the businesses themselves, obviously. But in the business loan broker community, that's a game changer for our members. So Daniel is an expert at that when he was talking about it at the event. So I just wanted to bring back one of our top stars here and talk about his business and what's been going on. I know a lot of you guys follow us to find out if this business loan brokerage is legit, if you can make money with it, if it is a good business model, and what Blueprint does and all of that. So we'll try to answer all of those questions. This is not scripted. This is off the cuff. We just chatted for like 5 minutes with Daniel. We often do that. So I just want to bring it to you guys. So Daniel, what's been going on with the business the past couple of months? So a lot of changes, right?
Yeah, definitely a lot of changes. It started with the PVP. We started marketing the PVP. There was a couple of companies that would allow us to work with them as affiliate partners, and that went well. And I just seen that it was a good lead in for other products, business lending products. That was just generating a ton of leads. So when the ERC program came out, jumped in last August, and it's just been going really well. It's generated a ton of leads. It's generated some I did an MCA loan. It was $850,000. It was $1 million approval. I end up taking in 2 different disbursements. Equinox 850 is just that one ERC lead turned into a over $50,000 in commission. So that
100%.
Was more than I could wait obviously on getting paid with the ERC, but that was just one deal. Because of the ERC leads, I've funded over a dozen plus deals, easily over 100 grand in commission. And then in regards to the ERC itself, on the books, contract signed, have over 5 million, which, is a couple 100,000 in commission that I'm waiting on. And a lot of that's starting to funnel through now. Like every day I get CC'd on invoices going out, like I was telling you. Today I was like a $12,000 deposit for an ERC that was done. So it's like every day, Monday through Friday, I'm seeing deposits come in. So it's going well. And I think going forward, it's these rebates and other programs that are out there. It's just a good lead in for other products, business loans. It's obviously still marketing business loans. That's our main focus. But yeah, it's a lot easier to provide something like an ERC. I'm having a lot of larger companies reach out to me that wouldn't reach out.
100%, man. In that 2-3 minutes, you drop more golden nuggets than most people get on an entire ERC training. Right. So that's awesome. Like you said, it opens up a lot of doors, not just on the ERC. So anyone watching this, you probably do know businesses who qualify for this, right? Whether they have 2 W-2 employees or 500 W-2 employees. Odds are, if they employ any one of them through the pandemic, and this is coming from IRS. IRS is stating that more than 90% of these businesses will qualify for something, right? So as business loan brokers, we bring it to the table. But like Daniel Diaz said, our main motivation is the business loan brokerage, because you're dealing with business. If someone has employees, obviously they're a business. Guess what? They need money, right? So Daniel has developed this unique approach that, not only he helps people get qualified for the employee retention tax credit. I mean, he just dropped a bunch of huge numbers there, right? So like a few $1 million in funding, it's a couple of $100,000 in commission, and then that led to a massive funding of $1 million, which paid him $50,000. So this is all happening. We're not talking about the past 5 years. This is all happening in the span of literally a few months, like very recently. And he was just telling me that he's in the process of growing the team because ERTC is massive. And you'd be surprised that most businesses have no clue. They're totally clueless on what this is and if this is even a real thing or not. So in the blueprint, we introduce our members to our ERTC partners, and Daniel Diaz and I keep getting emails literally daily. Like I got one email yesterday, and one of our members got a business qualified for $2.5 million. So that's a lot of commissions, right? So that right there is, I don't even know what the math is there. So about $70,000 or so for that broker. And that's happening on a daily basis. And the beautiful part is that you're not relying on that. Like Daniel said, the very same people who qualify for that, trust me, they need funding. And if you, as a business loan broker, we show you how to do that. But once you build relationships, they will always, almost always will trust you more than their bankers. Why? It's not because the bankers are bad people. It's just they're not trained properly. That's not their main focus. They're not, doing business loans day in and day out. They don't really have the support system. And most importantly, they don't really have many of the funding options that we do. Like, if you're a major company walking in, they probably do have something. But if you're the average size business, they have very limited resources. Well, that's why, like, I had a ton of bank relationships because they were my good friends, right? So any file that didn't work out for them, instead of embarrassing themselves saying that I can't help you and there's no other option, they would at least say, listen, I can't help you as Bank of America, but we have this friend here who does help businesses like yourself. We know him personally. Do you want to jump on a call together? And I had probably like close to 10 different banks that did that. And that was my entire lead generation. And that's super important. And also another thing, Daniel, you mentioned that you don't have to be from this industry. A lot of these relationships can be through partnerships. Like Daniel can work on your deals, and we have other partners who do it done for you. So even if you just have a client base and you want to bring in business lending, become a business loan broker that way, and also offer employee retention tax credit, you can do that. So this doesn't mean that you drop everything you're doing right now and only do this. So like Daniel Diaz, you were only doing loans, like SBA, but now your RTC came in, now became a part of your portfolio. Tomorrow, something else comes in, you take advantage of that. That's exactly what happened with PPPs, right? Like when it first came out, everyone was focusing on how to get that money, but you were focusing on how to offer it to businesses to make money. Like it's a very interesting model. So would you agree that this would work both for business owners and also non-business owners trying to generate income for themselves as an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah. I talked to a lot of people, obviously, that are getting into the space, and one of the concerns is like, well, I don't know anything about the ERC tax credits. I don't know anything about business loans. It's like, this is a good example of just getting out there and doing something. ERC, brand new industry, didn't know anything about a tax credit. Didn't know what ERC standard for. 8 months ago, and I jumped in. I seen an opportunity, and I started basically using what was taught in the blueprint. Same marketing strategies, just for a completely different product, the tax credit, and a couple $100,000 in commission from the ERC, plus obviously the commissions that are being made for the from the business lending products that we're able to, SBA loans, along with the merchant cash advances that we're able to fund off the same exact lead. So it's really just a matter of like getting out there and doing it. And good thing about the course itself, that's a blueprint. I mean, it shows you, it's going to teach you everything. You're not going to have to figure out anything, kind of like me just jumping in and throwing money to figure out how I'm going to market the ERC. Well, just putting in regards to like just taking the time out of my normal schedule to learn about it, and then implementing, not knowing if it's going to work the same, which it does. I mean, the blueprint, it's set up in a way to where you can just plug in a product, especially if it's regarding business loans, and you're gonna make money with it. So
absolutely. And you don't know what you don't know, right? I've been a part of a bunch of different groups, and you the same way. A lot of people complain about like business loans, ERTC, oh, no one responds back. And you and I, we see that through our community, literally hundreds of people just going through this. It's just a matter of following the right system. It's so easy to label something as, oh, this doesn't work. Well, what do you know about the industry, first of all? What partners do you have? Because money loves speed. That's what I say all the time, right? So getting into an industry, you want to be in an industry that's money friendly, first of all, that you can capitalize on that. So you don't want to end up doing a lot of work just to make $100. Like in your case, like you were doing the work already, you added something that led to something else, and you closed that $1 million deal and made $50,000. So that's leverage, right? A lot of people would have done the same work or more. Maybe you would have made $1,000 on a totally irrelevant industry, right? That's why the first thing is, if you're entrepreneurial, first you got to decide, are you in the right industry? Does this industry allow you to make the amount of money that you're talking about, right? So making 10, 15, 30, 50. So there's no ceiling really. Like I've known people who are making 50K on certain deals. I know people who make 150. I know people who make $500 on certain deals. So that's just the name of the game. Depends. Second of all, you need to know that there's a system that will work, and everything else will turn into like trial and error. If you don't have a system, you'll try it and you'll be like, oh, I tried this, it doesn't really work. Well, are you really following a system? That's super important. I'm not saying this that you just sign up to business lending blueprint. It's just a general theme. I think we talked about this in the Orlando event, Daniel, right? So it's really important to consistently follow something that that has worked for other people. Many people have, I don't know if this overconfidence or whatever it is, they think they can just figure shit out. Like life doesn't really work that way. It takes a lot to figure stuff out. And the one asset that we have, which is very limited, in fact, we don't even know how much of it we have left, is time, right? So if you're a serious entrepreneur, you got to be okay with getting coaching from other people, right? Like, 100%. So you invest a lot into coaching. Can you talk about it? Like what difference it makes versus just you trying it on your own?
Yeah, I mean, it's, I mean, even now, I mean, I've been in sales for, last 20 years, and, I'm always open. I come across as like, I can always learn something from somebody. So, I think it's, you want to keep an open mind to, whatever it is that you're going to do, if it's sales or if it's marketing, or, I'm always trying to learn something from somebody. I mean, that's really the only way. It's the people that I see that jump in this business and they have the most success, and they have the same personality. They're out there, they're trying to learn, and they're able to follow direction. They're trying to learn one thing, but putting it into action, and following, what you see, even in sales. I remember, back in the day when I used to, work for different sales companies, I would always find the top producer. I would, offer him to buy him, dinner or whatever the case is, and be like, can I mirror what you're doing? And I would want to hear his pitch, want to see what he does, even if it was on the phones. just here's tonality towards things, and I would just pretty much copy everything that he did. And I was always a six-figure earner in regards to whatever sales room I was always in. So it definitely helps. Like, you don't want, like, any, you look at any basketball player or any type of sports person. Everybody always has a coach. I mean, they have a coach for a reason. It's because it works. I mean, if they have coaches like Michael Jordan, he had his coach, and it's like they have coaches for whatever reason. Just like the average person just thinks like they can get by without having someone to help them. Like, even if you don't feel like you need the motivation, it's always good to have somebody just to kind of push you to that next step. Because, like you said, you don't know what you don't know. So
100%. I mean, it happened like recently in the Orlando event, right? So we showed up there. We had people from different backgrounds, but at the end, we all learned a lot, including myself. And I was an instructor. You were an instructor too. They say that one of the best forms of learning is through teaching, right? So when you're teaching something, you're reminding yourself like the things that would help other people, and it becomes your obligation to share it. And that was the energy we got from the room. A lot of people just walked out with stuff that they want to apply. I always say this, but some people obviously might doubt it. I invest over $100,000 a year in my own education through different coaching and masterminds and all that stuff. And not only that, like, we just, as of yesterday, hired a company for a certain parts of our business that's going to cost us $80,000 a year, right? Why did I do that? Well, after like 2 months of trial, I found out that they know way more than I do about that specific topic. And I said, all right, so I got to hire them to bring them on board, right? And that, for me and people like for you and I, it was always the same way. When I didn't have any money, I would just buy trainings and put it on the credit card. So because I know that that's the best way to learn. Otherwise, I think, on average, we're all smart enough to figure it out. But why figure it out? Because if you try to figure it out, there's a likelihood that you won't figure it out, or you won't give yourself enough time, or you're going to run out of resources. That's simple. That's usually what happens. People start any entrepreneurial journey with a lot of good intentions, but they burn out because the process takes longer, and they end up forgetting why they even started in the first place. Like, we forget a lot faster than we remember. So for that reason, regardless of what it is that you do, I just wanted to come out with Daniel and show you this opportunity once more, so you understand the opportunity in front of you, that literally hundreds of people are taking advantage of it. If you see the value, awesome. Like, we have a full training on how this business works and what Blueprint does below this video. You can join us, you can talk to us, and you can hang out with really cool people like Daniel Diaz. And we have I think one of the most powerful things in the Blueprint is the training is important, obviously, but the amount of people that you can hang out with, like the people in the community, that teaches you a lot. And because I always say this, entrepreneurship is not easy. It's even more difficult when you're surrounded by the wrong people. Usually the case, right? You try to do something, your environment is not used to someone kind of going above the average, and they try to pull you down unintentionally. So this could be your mom and dad, your wife, spouse, whatever, husband, right? So if you want to succeed, you need to surround yourself with the right people. It makes it a lot easier. It shows you what is even doable, right? So most people, like, up until I've actually seen the actual paychecks, I don't know about you, Daniel, but it was very difficult for me to believe the amount of money people were getting, right? So, they mentioned, I'm like, yeah, sure, that's probably like the extreme numbers I'm talking about. Then you see some people getting like $2, $3, $4 million. I'm like, is this real? Then you look into it and you see the actual IRS checks that people are receiving. Then that becomes real. Then, because I literally saw that. If I didn't do the research, I wouldn't have known. So hopefully you see the caliber of the community that we have. I mean, Daniel is in there. We're going to do another live event soon. We're just discussing the location and the details. If you do join the Blueprint, you're going to have a chance to meet us there in person. Daniel, anything that you want to add that I missed?
Just one thing that I got a lot of people who reach out to me. For some reason, they think like I'm that we're like I'm more about into the business lending Blueprint than I always tell everybody, hey, I'm a paying student just like you guys are. I have no no reason to endorse it other than I think you're a great guy, you're an honest guy. When most creators that I see that are out there for these products, regardless of what product it is, it's like, take your money, see ya, I'm out of here. It's hard to get any type of support. They never update the course. I mean, the course is constantly updated just by this ERC product that, is out there right now. That there's like, you're always bringing in new courses, new training, new ideas in regards to marketing. Anyone that's on the fence, I mean, it's a real opportunity. I always tell people it's a real business. I mean, if you treat it as a hobby, it's going to pay as a hobby. If you treat it as a business, it's going to pay as a real business, and you can potentially make millions of dollars in commission. So, I mean, I jumped in the business for, it's going little less than, it's almost going on 10 years now. And, this is actually the longest lasting program. I got a lot of people who are asking about, the economy's, taking a downward turn. And my response to that is always, that's actually, the whole industry was really created from the 2008 downturn.
Yeah.
Banks weren't lending, and they started, companies started testing these daily type payment merchant cash advances, and it just grew from there. And it's a $1 billion industry today. So hopefully the economy doesn't go down. But if it does, it actually puts us in a better position, because businesses are going to continuously need money. So if you're on the fence, it's a real business. You definitely want to jump in.
Absolutely, Ben. Appreciate the compliment. You're definitely right. So this industry was created as a reflex to what happened in 2008, right? Because it was a gridlock, and banks were not lending, and people needed money. So necessity is the mother of invention, right? So you come up with stuff, then there's demand. So you cannot create demand, but you channel it. That's what alternative lending industry is. Banking system sucks most of the time. They don't have a lot of value to add to people, but alternative lending industry does that. Just one last thing, that certain things that you can't really put a price tag on, like in the Orlando event, that amazed me. Like Daniel was gracious enough to have us listen to one of the calls that he's done with one of the customers, and even had an opportunity to talk to his assistant on how she handles the leads, right? So when you think about it, where are you going to find that information? Like, you can't Google that, right? You can't.
Right.
So this is like, this dude has been doing this for a decade. Like, he's been through anything that you can imagine, like any, I don't know, any obstacles, any objections, any rebuttals. And, she is amazing, obviously. Right. So we literally went through that live, and it was this crickets in the room. Everyone was just all ears listening, because you're watching a master do his work, right? And build a team and all that stuff. So I just want you to kind of understand that when I say the recipe, the blueprint, I do mean like hands-on, not just a bunch of videos that you get access to. Like, you hear from real people who are doing this every single day. And it was mind-blowing. People still talk about it. Like, I can't believe that I witnessed that actually just happening, right? I've done it myself for my team many times. I would literally jump on a live call and be like, all right, let's not make this theoretical. Let's make this real. Like, what's really happening, right? If you cannot do that, well, I don't know. Like, are you really skilled at this or not, right? So just there's a lot. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Honestly, we have lender calls. Like, we have lenders that you wouldn't be able to sign up on your own, honestly. So you Google a bunch of lenders. I was just talking to somebody that they said, what if I can just go ahead and sign up? I'm like, yeah, give it a try, see what happens. Like, really, it's a pretty enclosed community. So you kind of, I don't like saying that, but you need to be connected in order to be able to get the structure that we set up, so you get the right revenue share and you don't lose money and no one takes advantage of you. So you're kind of well protected. And I go to a lot of events, as Daniel knows. Why do I do that? Well, I want to get closer with all these CEOs. I mean, they run huge companies, and it helps our community. So anyways, just wanted to chime in and mention that. Like, it's mind-blowing to me every single day as I'm a part of this community, because I'm learning a lot. Most of my friends are from the Blueprint community, because you got to hang out with like-minded people. You got to do what you preach, pretty much. But Daniel, I want to thank you so much, dude. This is always a pleasure. I enjoy our time together. Looking forward to seeing you on the next event then.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, you as well.